recent data reveal a sharp increase in Americans identifying as evangelical while disengaging from regular church attendance. This trend is becoming more noticeable across various demographics and regions. In 2008, just 3% of self-identified evangelicals reported never attending church. This was a time when church attendance was seen as a core part of evangelical identity. By 2023, this figure had risen to 10%, with an additional 17% seldom attending. This significant rise indicates a shift in how faith and community are practiced. This shift marks a growing faction of cultural Christians who prioritize tradition and conservative values over religious practices. They often engage in community and political activities that align with their beliefs, even if they don't attend church regularly. Cultural Christians adopt Christian values without spiritual commitment, often blending these values into their daily lives and social interactions. Often rejecting liberal cultural norms, they advocate for conventional families, emphasizing the importance of traditional family structures and roles. They hold a strong belief in tradition and minimal government intervention, seeing these as pillars of a stable society. Influential figures like Elon Musk and Joe Rogan have embraced this identity, using their platforms to promote these values. They frame it as a response to what they perceive as societal chaos driven by liberal ideologies, advocating for a return to more traditional values. Critics argue that cultural Christianity lacks the moral obligations of spiritual faith, pointing out the absence of deeper spiritual commitments. Instead, they claim it fosters a victimhood narrative, where adherents see themselves as defenders of a besieged culture. This trend is reshaping the evangelical movement, with prominent cultural Christians like Richard Dawkins and Ayaan Hirsi Ali focusing on Western cultural supremacy rather than religious principles. Their influence extends beyond religious circles, impacting political and social discourse in Western societies. This shift highlights a growing emphasis on cultural identity over traditional religious values. Critics highlight the movement's Eurocentric roots, contrasting it with the global Christian majority in the developing world. They argue that this focus on Western culture undermines the diverse and inclusive nature of global Christianity, which thrives in regions like Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Simultaneously, data from Ryan Burge show rising evangelical self-identification among non-Christian Republicans, reflecting the political entanglements of cultural Christianity. This trend suggests a blending of religious and political identities, where cultural markers of Christianity are adopted for political alignment rather than spiritual belief. Cultural Christianity often invokes a longing for an idealized past. This perspective appeals to those frustrated by economic pressures and changing gender roles, fostering a reactionary response to modern societal changes. Advocates argue that liberal consumerism has led to cultural absurdities, necessitating a return to perceived traditional values. Unlike traditional evangelicalism, which focuses on personal salvation, cultural Christianity seeks societal transformation. This movement views liberal culture as a threat, prioritizing order and nostalgia over spiritual obligations. Supporters see it as a defense of Western values, while detractors view it as a shallow, politically driven ideology. For more Christian news, subscribe to our newsletter.